welcome to The Winning Factor. On this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an angle to the race we might look back on as being a path to finding the winner. Well, it's a new season, day number 1 on Sunday of the 2023-24 season, and everything to play for at the start of a new campaign. Our feature race for the day is the Chief Executives Cup. Now, since its inception in 1997, no horse has won this race twice, and that's why I think we see last year's winner, Lucky Sweynesse, the world's champion sprinter, lining up on Sunday to make a little bit of history, and he's going to be at very short odds to do that. It's also a part of the season where I like to bring out one of my annual tables, a table that is useful to us not just for the meeting at hand, but certainly into the near future, and that is the table of early season trainers. This table covers the first 145 races of the season, and that's not a random choice, as 145 races usually takes us to the start of November, so the first 2 months of the season. The top 6 trainers usually win over 40% of these early races. Now, a couple of interesting ones on this table though. One is John Size, often a slow starter, but he had a very good getaway last season. I'd have to wonder about that being repeated. Another is Francis Loy, who didn't have a real history as a fast beginner until the last 3 seasons, when we've seen his yard as a sharp improver in many areas, including this one. And Danny Shum has been one of the most reliable early trainers for 20 years, but fallen short of his usual standards in 2 of the last 3 seasons. It wouldn't surprise if Danny bounces back. And so too Sunday's racing, and the first race I'm going to take a look at is race 6, where our winning factor is the Bridesmaid. Now, this is a class 4 down the straight 1,000 metres. I've narrowed it to 4 main hopes: Ruby Sailing, after 2 excellent runs as a 2-year-old; Danny Shum's interesting debutante Champion Method; lightly raced Karma, who I have a decent opinion of; and a knockout chance to Time Storm, a 14-start maiden who will be running on down the preferred outside rail section. But the 2 who carry the most interest here are Ruby Sailing and Champion Method. Now, we don't often see debutantes turning up at the first meeting of the season, but if you take your mind back 12 months, Danny Shum sent out a debutante called Victor the winner that day, who started favourite, won very easily, and now here we are 12 months on. He'll be in the feature on Sunday, taking on Lucky Sweynesse. So he has a bit to live up to as far as Danny Shum's debutantes. The horse that we do know from race form though is Ruby Sailing, and he was runner-up twice to the very promising Ka Ying Victory last season, and I'm going to go back to his debut run also down the straight 1,000 metres. Now, this is race 750 last season, and from gate 7 he's in red and yellow colours, and Brenton Avdulla has him out quickly to take a share of the lead, and the lead here was a good test. As you can see during the running of this replay, most of the runners were ridden along to keep up at the halfway mark, and there were only 2 who managed to still finish the race off: Ruby Sailing and the winner. Now, Ruby made him earn it, but Ka Ying Victory just had too much quality in the end. Now, there's certainly no disgrace in that. Ka Ying Victory, as I said, is a horse heading in a hurry up to the better classes. They also met again over 1,200 metres at Ruby Sailing's second start, and this time the margin was bigger. However, Ruby Sailing didn't give himself much of a chance by messing up the start. Now, when we take a look at the map for Sunday's race, with a decent start, Ruby Sailing looks the leader on the preferred outside rail section, with Sparkling Dolphin and quite likely Champion Method as well, looking to work across towards that side on the speed too. The pace looks sound without being overly testing. But the tip from me in race 6 has to be Ruby Sailing. His winning factor, the Bridesmaid. Now, he's been runner-up twice, but to a very good horse last season, and he has the established race credentials. Perhaps Champion Method is another Ka Ying Victory, but that's a big ask for any horse at his first start, and I think we'll stick with the solid race form. The other race I'm going to take a look at on Sunday is race 7, where our winning factor is the winner up in class. Now I think the chances here are very thin. There'll be support for Hugh Bowman's mount, Charity Bingo, coming off a good trial. The honest Circuit Mighty looks the race leader and has a winning chance, but I think Zac Purton holds the aces here with All Is Good, who is looking for his 4th win in succession. Now All Is Good, he was a horse who did show some good promise at his early trials before he started racing, but took quite a while to get his act together. However, when the end of last season came, he was really putting it together in a big way, winning 3 straight, and this was his most recent offering. This is race 793, he's from gate 6 in light green colours, and All Is Good begins well, but there are a few quicker than him, and his rider Vincent Ho has no option but to camp just off the pace in a race where the tempo was never especially fast, but it never slowed up either. It was the essence of a genuine speed. And Ho puts All Is Good to sleep. He's in a perfect spot, produces him at the 250 metres as the leaders start to feel the pinch, and he comes clear under some riding to win very clearly. Now that was in class 4 with 133 pounds on his back. He now drops to 124 pounds. He's trialled very well for Zac Purton, and if you want an extra push, Purton was walking around at about 138 pounds a couple of weeks before the start of the season, and he looks to have made an extra special effort to ride this horse who has 124. All Zac's other rides are 128 pounds or more. And here we see something that we've highlighted with All Is Good's trainer Francis Loy towards the end of last season. When we look at trainers' performances with horses going up in class off a win, he has become our best performer now with horses in this sector when measured against the market expectations here. Now, even though I think the market will be all over All Is Good here, he still appeals very strongly as a horse who's going to be a worthwhile bet. If there's a danger on face value, it could be a different pace scenario. Now, as I pointed out, that was a very truly run race last time for All Is Good. He sat back off them and was too strong in the run home. When we take a look at the map for Sunday's race, the pace looks much slower. Circuit Mighty, he probably has more of a profile leading than most runners here, but Big Red also did lead in a slow tempo 2 runs ago and ran well. All Is Good is not beyond leading. He has led and won when the pace was not testing. So although the speed looks a different kettle of fish to what he encountered last time, I'm sure Purton will be right on top of the map scenario with all the tools needed to win the race. But the tip from me in race 7, All Is Good. His winning factor, the winner up in class. Now this horse, he's really come good at the end of last season. Not many win 4 in a row here, but he certainly has the quality to do it. He's got the champion jockey. He's got a trainer who's excellent with horses in this scenario and also has become one of our best early season trainers in recent years. Well, that's it from the winning factor for this week. Good luck on Sunday. We'll see you next time.